Hello, guys. Welcome to the Cosmic Panel, where today we're going to be discussing The Penguin, the new HBO Max TV show that is related to the Matt Reeves Batman film. Um, do be aware we will be talking about spoilers about all 8 episodes, and we'll be talking about the series at large. But yeah, Elias, what did you think?
I'm gonna do this, unfortunately, which is if you don't watch this, all you missed was Penguin's rise to power and that he has a mom now.
I mean, yeah, if you were to broadly say it, yeah, but I mean,
This is my largest issue with this show is that it doesn't really make me feel connected to the universe that we already knew because there's not a lot of characters from the initial thing that we knew from the initial movie that we saw here. It is a really effective crime show. It's a really dramatic and compelling and edgier seat ride the whole time. I could have used one Batman cameo, just like one.
they can't legally do it, sadly.
Yeah, the bad signal at the end is like
I
it's
recently
almost
learned.
salt in the wound because it's like wow we couldn't
Yeah,
get him, but
I can understand that.
there was a they fucking blew up. They put a fucking hole in the ground in Crown Point, and he's not there. Like it's just a little. I don't know. There's a lot going on that, and this is the problem that I had with stuff like Agents of Shield or shows that are going on in the universe of like a larger movie is really to really make it feel like it's part of that universe. The characters have to interact, and again, this show is excellently executed. It's really well done. It's really compelling. A lot of good things. It's a shame that we couldn't have that extra element that to really tie it all together because there's a lot going on in this show that I feel like Batman would have been privy to, you know?
Mhm. Yeah, I think they should have at least had Robert Pattinson cameo as like Bruce, something along those lines. Like even if it was like him talking on screen or something. Um, but yeah, apparently they can't use. So I actually watched a whole video about this and like read a document about it. Um, apparently the reason why they can't use the rights is because when they originally made the Adam West Batman show, they signed away all the rights for the TV rights to Batman, and it is completely in like basically purgatory, right? Like TV right purgatory, basically. Yeah, it's why they haven't been able to do any re-releases of the show, like of the that show. It's pretty
Uh,
wild. Yeah, it's stupid. It's why like Titans never had the Batman show up. Like he was always in the silhouette. It's why Arrow, which was originally supposed to be a Batman show, never happened. It's why Gotham literally never had Batman in it. Like
yeah.
it's apparently the reason for all that. Um, I'm just
That's
playing a
like
little bit of devil's advocate here.
no, I feel like I'm opening with devil's advocate cuz I do think the show was well done, but unfortunately at this point when I'm looking at comic book TV shows that are part of movie universes, I'm looking for it to really be vital viewing, necessary viewing. And I only say that because, I'm coming off of Agatha All Along, where these are characters that we now have to give a shit about because they have done so much in their own show and now they're going to affect the universe. And this is stuff that's like actively affecting characters that we, know. That was kind of my only major complaint. Um, I think that this is a stressful watch.
Yeah,
um,
that's an understatement.
because it's that compelling. So I think if you guys are into drama, if you guys are into, crime shows, this is the best version of that. But unfortunately, when he kills Vic, I'm like, oh, we just threw out the whole. Like, I was afraid of them doing something like that where basically they swipe all the new characters under the rug that they just introduced by the end of the show so that the show becomes not necessary to watch. You know what I mean?
I
Like, we're
still
missing
like.
all these new characters.
So I didn't view his death as that. I didn't. I don't know if I'm just not that cynical. I saw it more as like completing his character arc and the fact that like he didn't want to have anyone that saw him at that lowest. And like now that he killed Vic, it was like okay, I have to now put up an appearance. I have to become the Penguin. Um, that wasn't like what the way you thought about it. It wasn't, at least for me, wasn't the way like I initially like first thought of it when they were killing off Vic. Um, but yeah, that was just my thought. I'll say this, for me, this series didn't feel unimportant. For me, I felt like I learned so much more about Gotham, especially this version of Gotham. Like I feel
Yeah.
like I learned a lot more about like the crime family, the history of Gotham, the like actual like city itself. Like I feel like I understand what living in Gotham feels like. For me, as someone who is a huge fan of the movie, it was awesome. I really liked it. Yes, I would have wanted to see Batman, but other than that, that really is my only complaint.
Yeah, no, I think again it informs a lot about this universe, about Gotham. It just doesn't tie it together, um, you know, outside of like early Riddler appearance, like at the very beginning, and those are just Riddler's followers, which honestly we could have seen more of throughout the series. Because
Yeah,
yeah, the Riddler should have a big impact on
surprised we
people.
didn't see Jim Gordon.
Yeah, even Jim Gordon, like we saw what the mayor like once briefly towards the end
Yeah,
of the show. Um, it was just missing that for me, and the only reason I say that it felt like they were just sweeping characters under the rug was because I feel like if he's gonna kill Vic, he probably should have killed like his I'm forgetting her name, his friend that he was dancing with at the end. Like he has put her through so much, and she has seen a lot of shit that he probably can't have her knowing. So if it was really a loose end thing,
well, I
I
think it
feel
was more of just like, well, that is like an indulgence that he keeps because that's the only way that he can now get this gratification from his mother. Is that
right.
um like if he was to fully follow through, like that's the thing, he's a hypocrite. He's a straight up hypocrite. Like yeah, I agree. Like, but I think that like shows more to like his character flaws than anything else. Um,
Yeah.
and like him being just like, he will say something and completely not mean it. Like there's so many fucking times where he just lies straight to the viewers and the people in the show, and it's just like, for a second you're like, even you as the viewer are like wondering, like, even though you saw it, like, is he telling the truth? Like you get confused because he's that good at lying.
Yeah, for sure.
Sophia Facon,
Yeah, so
amazing.
yeah, she was really strong. Hadn't heard of her before, the actor, I
Same.
mean. And yeah, I thought she was really compelling. I thought she did a great job.
I think episode 4 should honestly get an Oscar. I think it was such a great performance throughout. I think everyone hit their notes perfectly. I think everything from like Oz to Sophia to like her experience within the asylum was incredibly heartbreaking. It made me look at the character in a completely different way. I'm sure if I watched the first like 3 episodes again, I would have a completely different mindset now that I've known what she went through. And that's a lot of work to do in one episode.
10 years in in Arkham is a long time, though. I'm kind
Yeah,
of surprised that she came out on the other end that composed.
I think it was more because of the therapist. To be honest, I think it was more of the therapist that she was with, and uh,
But they said he left her.
yes, but he came out to help after she released. That was like a thing that he said. It was like,
Yeah. But I'm
so.
just curious of the timeline there because she's like, I was in there for a decade. And
Yeah,
then she's, I thought,
I also wouldn't say
rather
she's
quickly
composed.
back on the scene. Well, what I mean is she's not like a shell of a person like she clearly was when she was in Arkham. Like she's, you know, at events, like in public, like going to like you know what I mean. Like I'm
Yeah.
just I'm just curious of the timeline because um
Well,
they
so
were
so
like, oh, she got out of Arkham like at the beginning of the show. They're like, oh, she's fresh out of Arkham or whatever. So I was like, oh, what's the timeline here? Because it just seems like really quick to be that
well
well adjusted.
so I'll so I kind of disagree because we see her kind of like act with food. For example, she eats it incredibly quickly, just like hand over mouth, because that is how you eat in prison. You don't want your food to be stolen. You don't want you're kind of like in that mindset of like, I need to eat now because I know that I'm not sure if I'm going to get a meal later, especially if I'm in solitary confinement, or something like that. So for me, like her doing that at like a party or something like that, for me, like showed, at least for me, it's like she's not fully okay, even in social gatherings. Like she could put up a front,
The
but it just didn't really.
I think she did that one other time, like
She did it like two or three
in.
times.
Yeah, I was gonna say when she does it at the party, it's intentional to make people uncomfortable. But the first time when I think she's maybe with Haas or something at dinner or something, I think maybe she does it and it's not
I think the
intentional.
first time was no. I'm pretty sure she like did it, and then she realized people were uncomfortable, and then she kept doing it, like almost to make it a power move. You know what I mean? Like to be like, oh, I'm purposefully doing this, rather than like
I
to save like
interpreted
face,
that
rather than
differently, I
her being
guess.
like, oh yeah, no, I'm like eating just to that, and
Mm.
also her like screwing with the therapist, like whipping him and shit. Like, there's a lot of stuff wrong with her, but don't worry, we can fix her.
Yeah,
No, she's awesome though. She's great. I love her character. God, the fucking end of like Oswald not even killing her, just putting her basically back in Arkham. It's like, no.
yeah, it's crazy.
I honestly hope she appears in the next Batman film or something. Um,
What was with the Selena Kyle
yeah,
thing though? What's the
I
point of
don't know
that?
either. Honestly, I mean, she is her half sister, so I mean, but yeah, I don't
Why
know
did she?
honestly.
Why would she reach out? It's just very weird.
Yeah, it definitely, especially because Selena left Gotham, so like,
Yeah, it seemed really random.
but I'm definitely interested. It seems like they're laying groundwork for maybe her return, um, which I would be happy with. I mean, I would love for her to come back and like take on Bruce and like all these different characters. Like she's a very very good actress, and her character is incredibly compelling because it's a character that it's almost like the same reason why people like the Joker, where it's like she doesn't have a goal, she just wants out. In comparison to Joker, who doesn't have a goal and is just causing chaos, her is like, I just want to get out, regardless of what it is. And it's like an understandable chaos in a way, in comparison to Joker's, where it's just like you can't understand him. He's like whatever. This to me was like a better way of doing like that type of character, where it's like, oh, I'm crazy, I've lost everything, I'm off my hinges. Also, I love all the flashbacks really making me care about characters that have already died. like, like the brother who was like a drug addict dying in the first episode. I was like, oh great, he's gonna die. He's stupid. Like this is fun. And then like episode 4 comes around, and I'm like, oh man, he was actually kind of decent. Like at
I
least it
didn't
made
feel
me
too
like,
strongly for Alberto, but he was like he had a real sibling love for Sophia, so he actually gave a shit.
yeah,
It looked really nice because everyone else in comparison to him did not give a shit.
yeah. That's true. That's true. Yeah, no.
That
It
was my
was
takeaway.
her killing the entire family was crazy. That
Yep.
was nuts. Um, and then her giving the girl to the orphanage is also wild. I really
Hmm.
thought she would like adopt her or something. Like I didn't think she would just leave her to like the orphanage, but
Well,
that's
she realized
crazy.
her mistake pretty quickly.
Yeah, it's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, a lot of hypocrites throughout the
Oh
show,
yeah.
just as a theme.
Oh yeah, no. The show is just hypocrite central. The only one who isn't a hypocrite is Victor. He's pretty straightforward with what he says, and that's why he dies. Sadly, I really wanted him to live. I really wanted him to live. I understand why they killed him off, but man, I love that actor. Also, he was in Runaways. He was phenomenal in Runaways. But the great thing is, I didn't recognize that was him until about like the second episode, because he became his character so well. It didn't click in my head. Like the stutter was great. Like he pulled that off so well that I genuinely thought he had a stutter. I was like, okay. And then later I was like, oh wait, that's the guy from Runaways who like speaks very eloquently and like is very concise with his words. Like he doesn't have a stutter. Like so I was very surprised by that. But yeah, do you have any standout episodes or scenes that you really enjoyed?
I mean, funnily enough, I feel like flashbacks were some of my favorite moments. Um, Especially when they like kind of played with time, like when they had Frances like
Oh yeah, Francine.
as her old self in a flashback where the other actors were younger. It was kind of interesting. That just felt a little more original, I guess, for flashbacks.
Yeah, I really enjoyed, man, that flashback of him killing his brothers just made my skin crawl. That entire thing just like sank my fucking like sank a pit in my stomach. It was like, oh my god, I know what's gonna happen. And then as soon as he fucking locked the door, I was like, oh well, we're fucked. Um,
I mean, you kind of get. I mean, obviously, like he's the most toxic boss ever, but there
we're
is. I
family,
feel
Vic.
like there's a progression or de-evolution, I should say, of his character, kind of through Victor's eyes as we go throughout the series, and it just becomes more and more clear that he's just the worst guy ever.
Yeah, I mean, he completely plays on the whole like I'm the man of the people. Like I won't even admit that I've done anything wrong. Like he believes his own lies. That's why he's such a good liar. Like even when like his mom is literally getting her fingers chopped off, he's still not willing to tell the truth, which is crazy. And he still never utters it once. Like that's nuts.
Mm-hmm. I kind of
uh,
would have been curious, honestly, as to what did happen with the rest of his childhood, because obviously Rex didn't kill him. So did he go under Rex's wing? Like, I'm assuming that's what happened. I would have liked a little more of that to really say it, really inform this, pathological, insane liar to get to this point. You know what I mean? Like, I think I could have used a little bit of that.
no, 100%. I definitely agree. Um, I think if they ever do a sequel, that would be a really great way. Is like really getting him like his first couple like times that he's doing a crime. That kid actor also for him was phenomenal. Which I rarely ever say kid actors are good.
I honestly couldn't take the flashback Cobb seriously.
I couldn't.
The accent was too thick.
Okay, that's a valid complaint. The only time
He's like,
I
ma,
couldn't.
ma, ma,
That was the only
I'll
time
do
where I
whatever you
like.
want, ma. It was a little much. I don't know.
But other than that, I thought he was really good at like keeping that like almost same like stone face of like. Also, like we still never got an explanation for how like Penguin got his scar. Like his face, like his foot. It's like okay, it's a genetic deformity. Okay, makes sense.
Yeah.
But his scar, it's like oh okay, like what caused that? I'm genuinely curious. Was that just like a fight? Was that like
Yeah, that is weird that we didn't
um
get anything on that.
yeah? I think the moment I was sold because I watched the first two episodes back to back. The minute I was sold on this show was the minute where Oz is tied up and Sophia's interrogating him, and then the car rolls through with the fucking brother in it and the Maroni ring and the ring finger cut off. I was like, oh man, I'm in it. I'm like fully convinced this is gonna be great. I think the show is honestly one of my favorite comic book shows. Straight up. I think it's one of the strongest. If I was to like pitch it to someone, I would say like Better Call Saul uh meets Sopranos. That's really the best way. Like there's funny moments, but it's a lot of lying. It's a lot of like planning, blinking you miss it details. But it's really well done, and all the characters are really well done. Um, to the point where like you don't know if someone's gonna bite the bullet or not because most of the characters are well written enough where you can't tell if they're just like there to be a martyr or not.
Yeah, it's like I said, really well done crime drama. It's super edge of your seat every minute. You never know who's gonna make it or not. Which is definitely a style of writing. Yeah, I'm just kind of curious where this leaves us for the next Batman film. It didn't really do a ton of setup to let me know like what's the next threat for Bruce really. So I'll definitely be curious to see what they land on, like what villains they decide to go with. I'm excited to hear about that.
Yeah, all we know is that it's set in the wintertime, but like we don't know anything other than that. Also, can we talk about Mark Strong replacing John Turturro? Because John Turturro didn't like.
It's not my thing.
It's
Bro
not
made it
my
sound like it was the other actor's thing. Like it's no
like
one's thing. It's
being
just
the
a
villain.
shitty, depressing fucking city that you have to
Bro, I don't
depict.
like depicting people that like murder, man. I actually prefer to depict characters that get pissed on by Bumblebee.
Hmm. Yeah,
Like, how's
real,
that not a
real.
low for you?
Yeah, right. Jeez,
You
I don't
got you
know.
got pissed on by a CGI robot in a Michael Bay film. My guy, you shouldn't have any more shame. Like, insert GIF of him getting repeatedly pissed on.
Hmm.
You don't actually have to do that. Uh, but
Definitely want to Google that.
but yeah, no, it's like, bro, come on. Mark Strong does good though. He like
Yeah,
plays
it
it
was
very
good.
well. I
But
just
wasn't he
obviously,
Savannah in Shazam?
yeah, he was.
Uh,
He was Savannah and
get
as
new
well.
actors, guys. There's believe it or not, there's actually actors that are looking for roles actively in the scene. But I don't know, just a thought.
I think it was more just like he looked way like him with like the glasses on and like mustache. Like
It
there was like
was
moments where it's
he
like,
was
okay,
good.
he looked very much like him, like from certain angles, and so I was like, okay, I can
Hmm.
kind of understand why. But no, I
Hmm.
definitely agree. Like, definitely rotate your fucking batch of actors, please.
Yeah,
Which seems like what they're doing for the rest of the DC films, which is good.
yeah, I
Um,
hope so.
but yeah, no, I'm very excited to see what the next Batman film is going to be like. Hopefully, it doesn't take too long. Um,
Yeah, I mean, you know, I just think that they can do a good job connecting this if they do put something out soon. Because otherwise, this is kind of get forgotten.
I would love like a Catwoman show where it explores like her time in between the movies. Like, I think that would be cool if you did like something like that. Because then that would actually be like explaining stuff and would feel interconnected with the film, being like, oh, we have to get the character from point A to point B at the start of the film. Like, I think that could be a unique way to do it. But then again, it's all up to the team to decide to do that. Also, shout out Colin Farrell for wearing all those prosthetics for God knows how long, bro.
Yeah, I mean, just you know, incredible performance by him.
I would have died. Apparently, they had to keep the place at like under 60 when he was by himself while putting on the prosthetics.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. I mean, we get to see everything. We get to see, I guess it's a fat suit and the whole face piece, which looks seamless. Um, I guess they were able to use the scars and stuff as maybe like some areas of leeway, but yeah, I mean, just crazy that he
you
was
know
able
what?
to perform so well and all that.
Yeah, his emotive range was crazy. Um, really wild. I was gonna say, I will point out though, I do agree with you in the part about like certain stuff not appearing is kind of annoying because like where's the iceberg lounge, for example? Like where was that in the entire like all you needed is a line being like, oh, the police uh quartered it off because of the murder. And I would have been like, okay, cool. Or
Yeah,
it was seized as an asset when like Falcone died. Like that would have been like I would have been like, okay, cool, done. Like that's it. Okay, I get why the set isn't used. Like, yeah, I just need little like tidbits like that.
the flood stuff was good, but I do think that only putting like the Riddler followers in the very first episode makes it feel like they weren't trying super hard to make it feel like a united effort.
Yeah, it should have definitely been like we should have seen Riddler propaganda throughout. We should have seen like the after,
Posters everywhere.
like we saw the after effect of the flood. That was like well depicted, honestly. But we need more of like the social and like psychological damage that he caused, because I'm sure people have like Stockholm syndrome basically with him, where it's like, he was trying to set us free. If only Batman hadn't gotten in his way, everything would have been fine. It's like
Mm-hmm.
I would have liked to see that
Yeah,
more, uh, rather
because
than just.
yeah, obviously the politics are corrupt. Like we know that now. We know how easy they show how easy it is to pay off a cop. They show how easy it is to get under a politician's skin. So I didn't
I'm gonna try that at
need
home.
too much of that. Yeah,
Just
try this
go
at
up to
home, kids.
go up to a politician and be like, I'm gonna slam your hand in the door if you don't if you don't turn on the lights in
Yeah,
my
yeah,
apartment.
yeah, yeah.
Crazy.
So like that was already, I think, established. So I didn't need as much of that. But yeah, I
Yeah,
just
yeah, it
needed a
was just
little
funny.
more of like what does this really mean for uh, the universe as a whole? If Penguin can just kind of do whatever he pleases and really pull the strings, like they're really not going after seemingly anybody until he points the finger at Sophia, and they're ready to accept that.
Yeah, that was a sick scene with him in the like courtroom, or the city council room, like telling the politician to spin the story, and then like the reveal of like, yeah, all the crime bosses got killed off by like their servants, basically, like by the people that were like number two. Like that was really
Yeah,
cool to me.
how did he coordinate that though?
I don't know. I'm pretty sure it was more Victor, to be honest. Which is also a thing where it's like, okay, no one's gonna wonder where Victor is after this.
Hmm.
Ain't no one gonna be like, hey, where's Victor? He's gonna be like, yeah. He took a trip to Malibu. I gave him a little vacation.
Mm-hmm. I guess Link would have done it. I don't know. Maybe yeah. Maybe Link was talking to the number twos the whole time. Maybe.
I no. 100% must have been Link and Victor. Um, but like, it's kind of wild that Link isn't gonna be like, hey, where's Victor?
Yeah, Link seemed to give a shit. I wasn't expecting him to pop Zhao like that though. That was crazy.
Yeah, that was actually great. I also love the scene where he punches Victor and is like, "Know your place," because he's like actually saving him right there, like
Yeah.
straight up.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of seeds like that moment where you're like, okay, is he on his side, or is he like? Because I genuinely didn't know if he was going to be on his side or not. Like I was actually like all over the place, because I was like, okay, that would be worth it risk wise, but that would cause this, and it was like, okay, how do we balance those scales?
Yeah, when he called him in the car when Penguin was in the city hall, I didn't know if he was trying to help or not. But they keep it like that so that when he kills Zhao, that it's a cool twist.
I love that Sophia realizes when Penguin just can't fucking hold himself from smiling. She immediately go like is about to like warn them, and then immediately they get killed. And it's like, well,
Yeah.
fuck. Also, him
I don't know.
driving Sophia, bro, at the
Mm-hmm.
end. Yeah, I'm definitely. I mean, it's been doing really well numbers apparently, like like streaming wise. Apparently, it's been like breaking like HBO Max's like actual like in website like streaming numbers, which is crazy.
Okay.
Because House of the Dragons was like streaming on that, from what I understand, and that was like a big thing.
Mm.
Yeah, it had like 2.6 million apparently in this first episode, which is wild. Um, I hope this reaches a wide audience. I hope this sets the bar though for a lot of like comic book shows, where it's like quality of the story is the most important thing. Like, if you have a good story, that is what we want. You don't need to make a show for the sake of making the show. If you have a story, and people will be willing to watch it regardless. And I think Agatha and this show that off very well.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to give this 4.5 umbrellas out of 5.
He didn't even use an umbrella.
I know. Okay. Then 4.5
That's
floods
fine.
killing off the family of loved ones out of
Uh-huh.
5.
Yeah, yeah. Uh-huh. I'm gonna give this 3 gas masks out of 5.
Uh, also, I love when Victor killed the one guy. That was crazy.
Yeah, fucking squid. Fuck that guy.
Fuck Squid.